Galnet News Digest, 14th of February 3305. We read the news so you don't have to. In this week's news, Galactic Antology. Failed Xeno-Research plan presses ahead. Winking cat strikes Saul again. Namebadges and Coffee. Galactic Antology. The great theologian Obsidian Ant has published a learned tome in which he examines the theories of how the galaxy came to be, why it exists, and what will eventually happen to it. How did the galaxy come to exist? Mr. Ant describes how religious opinion is divided about the nature of the galaxy. Some say it has always existed and always will exist. Others say it came into being on the third attempt after a couple of false starts known as little bangs, or the alpha and beta galaxies. By this theory, the current galaxy is a continuation of the third or gamma galaxy, created by a big bang. According to the cult of Galactic Antology, the prime mover behind this big bang was the hand of Braben the Unknowable. But of course, they can't know that for sure. What came before? The fossil record tells us that there may have been a galaxy before this one. A crashed Cobra and crashed Thargoid scouts suggest there may have been some sort of earlier existence, although of course the steady staters use these same fossils as evidence that the galaxy existed long before the time posited by the Big Bang theory. What is the purpose of the galaxy? One idea, known as the Sybaritic theory of cosmology, states that the galaxy is there for the pleasure of commanders. The alternative hypothesis of commercial pragmatism posits that the purpose of the galaxy is to facilitate a special form of reverse entropy, whereby all the credits in the galaxy will gradually fill the coffers of the Pilots' Federation, mainly through the sale of cosmetic items and feature packs, until all the wealth in the galaxy is gathered in one building in the northeast outskirts of Cambridge, at which point all that gathered financial mass will cause the galaxy to implode. Some say the galaxy has no particular goal and is simply blazing its own trail. What will happen to the galaxy? The steady staters believe that it will continue to evolve steadily, with new features being discovered every year or so, for as far as we can imagine into the future. The Big Bang proponents suggest that the weight of what they describe as galactic technical debt will at some point force the galaxy to undergo another Big Bang event, starting anew, with all evidence of the former galaxy and all the commanders in it erased without trace. Some of the more extreme bangers believe that the galaxy may have a lifespan of as little as 5 years, which would mean that the game over screen for the current galaxy would be due just about now. It's always worth asking this sort of commander, can I has your stuff? Despite consulting the rather smug Gnostics of Liberum, Mr. Ant fails to draw any conclusions. But whatever the future of the galaxy, and even if the galaxy collapses in upon the gathered mass of gold in that building in Cambridge to form a galactic black hole, there'll be no point in crying over a spilt Milky Way. Failed Xeno-Research plan presses ahead. Despite having gathered barely enough exploration data to find their way home from the chip shop, the Holloway Bioscience Institute is pressing ahead with its plans to build a planetary outpost to study newly discovered life forms. In what was possibly the most ill-conceived and certainly the most poorly supported galactic appeal ever, the Institute waited until 13,000 of the best explorers in the galaxy were too far away to be any use before appealing for exploration data. And those independent commanders left in the bubble responded with utter indifference. The only useful exploration data turned in was a visitor's guide to the Cambridge Science Park. The Holloway Institute is constructing its planetary base out of corrugated steel, string, and some old chemical toilet someone said they didn't need anymore. And it plans to investigate extraterrestrial life by displaying a sign saying, "There are no galactic life forms, change my mind." Winking cat strikes Saul again. Notorious art thieves, the Winking Cat crew have made a daring getaway with a large number of artworks stolen from the Museum of Civilization, in their second heist on Mars in as many months. On the 1st of January, the Winking Cat crew stole the New Year hollow sculpture from Olympus Village, replacing it with a giant hologram of a winking cat. This time they've made off with irreplaceable artworks from centuries of human history, including works by Rembrandt, Picasso and Okeke. Each one of the stolen works was replaced by an image of a winking cat. Winking cats were also left at previous raids from the Imperial Museum of Culture in Eotiensis and from the Garden City Gallery on Turner's World in Alioth. Such is the fickle nature of the art world, the daring audacity of these raids and the massive publicity they've attracted, that the winking cat motif is being appropriated, both in popular culture as a sign of rebellion and amongst the cognoscenti as culturally significant artworks in their own right. The galaxy can't wait to see where the Winking Cat crew will strike next. Namebadges and Coffee. The museum planet of Earth, known by many as the cradle of humanity, will be hosting a string of conferences from members of the Pilots Federation this year. Elite Community Meet will be in the Garden City of Manchester on the 20th of April, and LaveCon, which despite its name is not held on Lave, will be near the coastal town of Northampton on the 6th and 7th of July. Fantasticon, hosted by the 3D printed plastic robot that replaced its original host, will be held in a giant glass bubble on the floor of the North Sea, known as Cleethorpes. There has been no word yet about Frontier Expo 3305. Commanders are urged to look out for booking information, as places at all these conferences are limited. And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.